You're listening to the Love Unplugged podcast, episode 155. Do you feel like Instagram is working against you versus for you in your business? With the constant changes to the algorithm, new features, and so on, it can be challenging to use to its fullest potential, but that stops now. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into how you can get the most out of your Instagram strategy and content. So let's jump right into it. Hey there, I'm your host, Jessica Fergon, and I am passionate about doing the inner work needed to reach your goals. Let me be your guide as we navigate all the fears and insecurities that surface when it's time to step outside of your comfort zone. Along with my knowledgeable guests and industry experts, I'm here to teach you how to reawaken your life purpose and passion and create the steps to turn your intentions into action. Ultimately, my goal is to empower you to rise above those blocks holding you back and start living a life that you are worthy and deserving of. So come on, it's time to slow down, find a comfy spot with your favorite organic tea, and get inspired. Thank you for tuning in to the Love Unplugged podcast. Hello, loves. Today I am joined by the lovely Tesle, founder of Tesle International, which is a dainty boutique social media management studio offering state-of-the-art, modern-day marketing and PR to help goal-driven and determined business owners. Welcome, Tesle. I am so incredibly honored to have you as my guest today, and I'm so excited to learn all about your story and your expertise and advice. But before we start, for those that don't know you yet, I would love for you to share a little bit more about you personally.
Awesome. And I'm so excited to be here, Jessica. And thank you so much for having me. So I'm Tesle. I am an owner of a social media agency. It's called Tesle International. And we focus mainly on helping business owners to really make their business sound, look, and feel first class. And we do that through our social media management as well as our content writing, which is our jam, basically.
I love that. So let's start at the beginning. Prior to creating your business, what were you doing? What was your career like? Did you go to school for anything specifically?
Mm-hmm. So it's a really funny journey because I actually started as a blogger. So I really just wanted to write. So I would, write about my fashion, and I was doing that while I was in university. So it was really a fun time for me. But what's funny is because when I graduated from university, I became a preschool teacher. But then I still kind of had this longing for being in the media world, being in the industry, being in the marketing side of things. So I kind of pursued it on the side, I guess. And that's kind of how it started for me, like really sparked that joy, as Marie Kondo would say. Like I would do all the social media marketing work on the side while being on that, being in my preschool job. So that's how it started.
All right. So were you going to school, like university, to become a teacher? Was that your plan initially?
So I took up psychology in university, and at the same time I was studying fashion design, like simultaneously in a different college. So I was going to two different schools at the time, and that was because I really wanted to pursue so many things all at the same time, which you'll later on realize as we go along with the story of how I started my social media agency. You'll realize like I was just really this type of person who just wants to juggle everything all at the same time. I'm not sure if you can relate to that, but I guess that's the type of person that I've always been. So yeah.
Okay. How did you get into preschool teaching?
Actually, I would say like a lifelong dream as well, because I've always loved children and I've always been so I guess nurturing as a person. And even at like I was, I think, around 16 at the time when I kind of realized that maybe I wanted to become like a kindergarten teacher and work at a preschool. So that's kind of the reason why I really went for university, and I really took up psychology.
Okay, gotcha. Now, how did the idea to start a social media agency come to mind?
So this was back in like 2018. So I was traveling a lot and I got my heart broken. So I was in Bali and I was trying to really figure out how I could support myself financially and still be able to travel, because at the time I was just doing my preschool job part time because I really wanted to travel and, heal my broken heart. So that's how it started. I was looking up for like jobs that I can do while traveling. And since I knew that I already had experience and the skill in blogging and, copywriting, and that's how I began to really venture into like the social media world more seriously. So I think, if I can remember correctly, the first gig that I've ever gotten was writing social media captions for a shampoo brand that is based in New York. And I loved it so much that I feel like I also manifested or attracted so much more experience during that time. So that's kind of how I learned more about handling and managing clients, working with them long term, and also attracting all the other, dream clients that I've met along the way.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a pretty cool first gig for you.
Yeah, I think I was really able to grasp the idea of starting my own social media agency during the pandemic, when I started to stop thinking as a freelancer and, really embody being a CEO of my own social media agency. So during the pandemic, it was really how I kind of, I would say, start to like really become the CEO of my dreams and really look at this business as like a company instead of just, a freelancing thing. And it was really tough in the beginning, like, opening up your own social media agency and really trying to scale the business during, COVID times when everyone is, um, I would say having a hard time. So yeah, that was quite challenging as well.
How did you find it moving from freelancer mindset to CEO mindset? Like I know that a lot of people struggle with that when they're moving from like the corporate world, having an employee mindset and then moving into like a business owner mindset. So what was your experience like?
Mm-hmm. So for me, I just was really into personal development, and months leading up to the lockdown, I've already have met a lot of like mindset coaches, business consultants, and I think at the time my social media business was already taking off, and I was already attracting a lot of like people into my world, and I started to learn more and more about how I could, reframe my mindset and do a lot of shifts to really embody the person or the woman that I wanted to become. And that's also how I was able to, I feel like, expand my business, because I really made sure that aside from working on my business, I was already also working on myself, and most especially my mindset, because there's so much that you experience when you become a social media agency owner. There are a lot of, things that you need to do in a day: operations, managing people, leadership. And these are things that I had no idea about prior to entering the business. So definitely a lot of shifts and a lot of, breakdowns and a lot of crying, but I think it was really all part of the journey.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone with that. I think every entrepreneur has had those moments of, falling apart and crying and not knowing what they're doing. So that's a common theme in the journey because, I mean, nobody knows everything when they start off, right?
Yeah, I could not agree more.
What was your biggest mindset block that you had to overcome?
Definitely the one that I struggled with the most would be feeling like I wasn't good enough. Like maybe I wasn't doing enough to be, when you're an entrepreneur, you have this thing where even with how busy you are during the day, you still feel like you're not doing enough for yourself, for your business, for the people around you. So I really struggled with feeling like I wasn't good enough and I wasn't providing enough for my clients, for everyone else in my business. And even when I knew in my heart, deep down inside, that I was really doing my best and I was really giving my best, there was still this, mindset block that kind of, I'd say it's a limiting belief that just stops me for a second and really makes me, question myself, question my decisions. If, am I doing even the bare minimum? Even when I know deep inside that I was doing it, there is still this, I would say, limiting belief that kind of stops me from achieving more just because I feel like I wasn't doing enough.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. For those that are looking to start their own business, whether that's a social media agency or a different type of business, based on your experience, what have been your biggest lessons that you can then, share with them so that they can hopefully avoid them themselves?
I would say have boundaries, but at the same time, really take care of your clients. Each of your client is so important in building your business. And I guess what really helped me was shifting my mindset from looking at, because when you're coming from a freelancing mindset, it's all about, signing a client so you can hit your income goal. So that was, where I came from. And when I started to learn along the way, like I realized that it was really the mindset shift of really wanting to serve people, and especially the people who trust you, who put their trust in you, and really making sure that they get the best out of, working with you. And that's been such an incredible thing that I always share with everyone that I meet, especially business owners, because I feel like people, they feel that connection with you, and they feel that trust, and they really take care of the work relationship when you take care of them as well. So my biggest advice for business owners is to really have boundaries in place, and at the same time still, really take care of your clients and take care of everyone that you encounter, especially in the business, and really nurture the relationships that you have, whether or not they become your clients. It's really important to, just generally be a good person, be a good business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot agree with that more. Your clients are basically making your business. Like without clients, you don't have a business. Like you have an idea, but you're not actually doing anything. So it's so important to be able to serve them really, really well, because they are investing their time and their energy and their money in you in order to support them in whatever goal that they have. And that leads to like repeat business or referrals and a high reputation and whatnot. So you want to make sure that you're valuing that exchange with them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
I'd love to hear like a couple wins, from your experience starting and growing your business. What were a couple moments or even just one moment where you're just like so incredibly proud of what you've accomplished, like a major win that you've had, whether it's small or big, it doesn't matter, but something that really stood out for you, and how did you celebrate it?
So maybe the most recent one would have to be finishing a campaign for a client that would be like an international digital asset for their brand. So that's one of the biggest accounts that I've ever handled, and most definitely going to be, one of the memorable ones, because it took really a lot of time and, a lot of effort to really put that project together. So I'm really proud of that. And I actually just celebrated today by having pizza with my husband and, just really being grateful for having the type of business where I get to fall in love with it every single day.
That feels really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds like a good night with your partner.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I guess it's really I have never really celebrated my wins that much, but since I've gotten married, I feel like I've had that kind of support that you crave for when you're an entrepreneur. Like you just need, people around you who's going to support you, your vision, your goals, and I've had that with my husband. So I'm also really grateful for that.
That's amazing. There's nothing better than having a partner who understands and who like supports you and pushes you and like, makes you kind of take a step back and, celebrate those moments.
Yeah, that's true, especially when you're entrepreneur and you're starting out, because it can be really, really lonely, frustrating at times. And the journey is just, it's a lot of ups and downs, and you kind of need that, not even like just a partner, but like just a support system in general that would be able to catch you when you fall and just help you along the way. That's so important.
Absolutely. So let's dive into your expertise. Now, which platforms do you primarily work with within your agency?
So my main platforms would be Instagram and Facebook groups and Facebook in general. And we are already um, venturing with brands and doing TikTok as well.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's focus on Instagram because it is one of the most used platforms, I would say, by the majority of brands and businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the algorithm is something that we all struggle with, and I've seen it so many times from people that I follow and that follow me that struggle with the constant changes, and you can't figure it out. And sometimes everything just kind of goes down on your account, like all the engagement and the views and like all that type of stuff. And you just don't know why. So how does the algorithm like really work, and how can you make it work for you?
Mm-hmm. So with what I've studied, because I really look at the data of like not just my account, but all of our client roster as well. And the number one thing that I would really suggest for every business owner is to look at your data, look at your insights, and really see what has been, working for you and what hasn't. So that's in that way, you'll really be able to tell like what type of content your audience will enjoy. And if you are in the position where you haven't really made that kind of community yet, or you don't have that many followers yet, not that huge of an audience, my tip or my advice would be to really experiment on which type of content would work for you and your business, and also the different types of posts that would really work well with what you're offering. So what I like to put as an example is for normally for online service providers, we tend to promote our offers on Instagram using posts, right? But then those types of posts are, sales. People normally find it salesy. So what I would normally suggest is venturing or, playing around with different features on Instagram. Like instead of just posting, your promo on your Instagram feed, you can, play around with Instagram stories, use engagement stickers, use all that to really capture your audience and really make it fun and interesting for them. And then for Instagram reels, those are videos that would also be helpful in really capturing the attention of your audience. So if that's promoting your offers, you could be entertaining. How can you put a lot of like either education or value or entertainment or humor in your posts or in your reels. So these are things that you can play around with when you're starting out, just to really see which type of post would be able to attract your ideal clients more.
Mhm. Now, you say to analyze your data. So, what types of metrics do you track for your business and for your clients?
Mm-hmm. So it would really depend. So every time that we work with a client, we set key performance indicators. So this would depend on like what they're targeting. Is their goal to grow their audience? Is their goal to build their community? Is it getting more leads, so getting more inquiries? It would really depend. I could give you one example. Like, as for me, I really use my social media or my Instagram to generate leads. And I do that by, creating posts, content, and really interacting and engaging with my ideal clients on Instagram. And I track it by really looking at the metrics. So when you go to Instagram, you'll see there how many people have sent you a message through that post, or how many people have commented or reached out to you or interacted for using that different posts. That's where you'll see like if it's working. If it's not, you can tweak it, and you really test it out and see which ones will work best for you and your business.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, you've talked a little bit about Reels as one of the features that you should be including in your social media strategy. Now, what is key to creating Reels that will either go viral or that will attract a lot of engagement?
So what I've studied is and what I've seen with my account and my clients as well is really using a powerful hook. So that's the number one tip, because, people nowadays, they scroll through Instagram very quickly. And so you need to capture their attention right from the get go. So having a powerful and interesting hook will really help you to leverage on each reel that you make.
Gotcha. Okay. Is finding like music that is trending really key, or does it even matter?
I would say finding music or songs that are trending will help you in the short, if your short term goal is to go viral. But for a much longer term strategy, I would say really having like a powerful hook and an entertaining and high quality video for your reel is so much better. So if your goal is just for short term virality, finding music that are trending would be good. But for if you really want to go for that long term strategy, really taking the time to plan out each reel is key.
Okay. You mentioned, features, which Reels is one of those features. Instagram stories and engagement stickers are other features. What other things would you like to bring up right now that would help people maximize the engagement with their communities?
So what I always suggest to everyone is to make sure that you're taking the time every single day to reach out to your dream clients. So how I would put this is, when you're a brick and mortar business, you need foot traffic to really have that opportunity to get a sale, right? But if you're an online business, you can do that by really personally reaching out to your ideal clients and really putting yourself out there to be more discoverable. So even if that particular ideal client don't become you don't sign it, or you don't become like a client of yours, then you still have that opportunity to be connected to other ideal clients that could potentially become one of your clients for your programs or offers. So that's really important, especially for coaches, consultants, online service providers, reaching out to your ideal clients and interacting with them, and really becoming the top of mind in your industry is really important, and not just by for growing your audience, but also growing your client roster.
Gotcha. Okay. So with Instagram stories, I know it's really important to be using the stickers. So like using the polls and the questions and whatnot. There's other features with Instagram stories that I'm wondering, are they beneficial to include, like the hashtags that you can then drag off the screen, or, tagging people, which, sometimes I even get people that I follow or that I'm connected with on social media, they'll tag me, but then hide the tag. So then I'm getting tagged in their stories, which brings them to the forefront of my mind, of course. But there's like all these different stickers that you can possibly use. So like which ones are actually like really important to have?
Mm-hmm. I would say for me, hashtags in your stories are still very important because they make you discoverable. I haven't had the chance to really try out tagging people on my Instagram stories unless we have had, a relationship before, like they've, been my friend, we've been connected before, but I wouldn't suggest doing that randomly. But definitely, if you want to be discovered by more people, using hashtags in your stories would be great, but I wouldn't overdo it just so you can, avoid being shadow banned by Instagram.
Gotcha. Okay. In your business and what you do to help your clients with your agency, do you use or recommend any tools or platforms that will help map out the content, schedule it, just make it more efficient in putting out into the world?
Mm-hmm. So for my social media agency, we really love using Asana for, creating content and really putting all our ideas out there and finalizing the different content pillars for our clients. And we also use Later to schedule everything. Later is very user friendly. So even if you're a beginner or you're just starting out in scheduling your posts and really focusing on your social media marketing, Later is a really great platform that you can start with.
Okay. Now, with those that are starting out, or maybe they've been doing, social media for a little while, but they're still feeling, the anxiety and just feeling overwhelmed thinking about how to be creative. And, maybe they're overthinking things and making it more complicated than it needs to be. What would your advice be for those?
Your life itself is your content, like your journey, your adventures, the things that you love, the things that you've accomplished. All that could, be potentially a great content for you. And the more that you incorporate who you are in your posts, in your content, in your social media, the more that you get to attract the right people and the right audience who will love you for who you are. So instead of becoming a watered down version of, a business owner that has been in the industry for a very long time, I would suggest just really becoming, or not really becoming, just, really being who you are. Like, just enjoy the journey and put so much of your love and your passion into every post that you do, because that's how you're going to attract the right people into your world.
Yeah, people can pick up on the energy and the intention behind what you create and put out. So you want to make sure that you're taking that time to create the content that's going to resonate and that's going to be relatable and that's going to sit with your community.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, people buy from people, right? Like, they have to connect with you. They have to learn more about you as a person because that's going to bring them in or draw them in.
Another great example for this is my personal experience where I really wrote a long post about how I was engaged before and how I was so heartbroken that it made me, it really motivated me to start my own social media business so I could travel. And a lot of women in the industry really resonated with my story and how they also started their business so they could travel. And a lot of them became my friends. A lot of them, I've connected with and worked with. So it's really, I guess, really just putting your stories out there would be a great way for you to find the people that who will resonate with who you really are, and the person that you've always been and the person that you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk about how you support your community, people that you want to work with you. So, what do you have available for those that are interested in possibly working with you?
So I mainly work with female business owners who would like to start elevating and really expanding their social media marketing. So instead of doing it by yourself and really trying and testing it out by yourself, my social media agency can help you to really not just create the best strategy and plan for you, but also give you the support that you need in growing and scaling your business through social media. So I have my social media management services as well as my marketing consulting intensives that will help you to really see what would be the best and most suitable strategy and plan for you. So this goes beyond the normal like content creation and management or platform management. It really, my social media agency is different because we tie and combine marketing strategies and social media for each client to really get the best deal out of working with us.
I love that. So, if anybody wants to learn more about you or they want to connect with you, where do you hang out the most online? Where can people find you?
I am almost always on Instagram because I just love Instagram in general. So people can always connect with me there. My Instagram username is tesleinternational.com. So I'm happy to send you the link so you can include it in the show notes because my name is a little bit complicated, but it's tesleinternational.com. And you can also reach me through my website. It's www.thetesleinternational.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Tesle, for joining us and for sharing your story, your experience, and your advice. Social media is just such a key part of our marketing strategy, and knowing how to utilize it to make a difference in our business growth is so important. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you as well, Jessica. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for your time.
I'm Jessica, and thanks for tuning in today to Love Unplugged, the podcast. If there are any questions or topics you'd love answered on the show, head on over to www.projectloveco.com and share your request with me. If you haven't yet, go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast and share it with a loved one. Your feedback means the world to me, and the community we've created is what fuels our discussions here. After all, this is all for you. Join me next time for another unplugged conversation.